Okay, everybody, so we're working on personal narratives. If you remember, personal narratives are your story, your experience, your memory, and your words. It's a zoomed in story, so you're going to focus in on and leave out the boring details. None of that. We got up in the morning, we had breakfast, then we went on the walk for a walk on the beach, then we did this, then we did that. You're going to zoom it in to maybe just that walk on the beach, maybe even just 2 minutes of that walk on the beach. It's an experience you are willing to share here, you're comfortable with sharing, nothing too personal, nothing inappropriate, and one that you're going to be able to take through the writing process and enjoy taking it through the writing process. Remember, a personal narrative has 3 basic good story parts, even though it's nonfiction. Characters, the who, of course you're going to be one of those, setting, when and where, and plot, what happened, the timeline of the story. Right now I'm going to share another short example of a good personal narrative and point out some things that I like about it, some things that make it a personal narrative. A Big Splash, author anonymous. I remember not being able to sleep. By 4 I was up and dressed and bounding into my Uncle Bob's room. That's how you are when you're 10 years old and going fishing with your favorite uncle who just came back from the Navy. I had to wake him up, but by 6:30 we were at the dock on the lake. Uncle Bob instructed me to get into the boat so that he could hand me the fishing gear. There was plenty of it. Poles, tackle boxes, bait box, the cooler that contained our lunches, a long-handled net, and extra sweatshirts. I climbed into the boat thinking, this is going to be great. He handed me my small tackle box and pole first. I put them on the back seat of the rowboat and promptly opened the box and began looking for just the right hook. After all, there was no time to waste. The biggest bass in the state was waiting for me. So involved was I that I didn't notice my uncle piling the rest of our gear into the boat. He had 1 foot on the dock and 1 on the boat. I also didn't notice that as I fuddled about and back, the boat began to ease away from the dock. "Pull the boat in with the line," said my uncle. I turned. I wasn't sure what he meant. I did see him with 1 foot on the dock and 1 on the boat. They were spread precariously far apart. "Pull the boat in," he said more urgently. Realizing what was happening, I jumped up to get to the front of the boat, but my movement caused the boat to slip farther from the dock. "Pull!" It was too late. My Uncle Bob made a big splash. Now, short, simple, but not too simple. There's a lot in this personal narrative. First of all, what makes it a personal narrative? Well, the person that's telling the story. Who is the person? Boy? Girl? We don't know about that. It really doesn't matter. But what we do know about him or her is they're 10. We do know they have an Uncle Bob. We do know they like to fish and that they were really excited about this experience. So let's highlight a couple of those things. I remember not being able to sleep. Right away we know, if you're not able to sleep, it's like Christmas Eve, or you're looking forward to something. Hopefully it's something good. Up and dressed, bounding, excellent word choice there. Not just going into my Uncle Bob's room, bounding. That shows a lot. And it shows favorite uncle. By 6:30 they were on the dock on the lake. Do we know exactly what lake? No, it doesn't matter in this case. But that could be something this person added, especially if it was somewhere close by where we'd be familiar with it. Instructed, another good word, not just told me. I like this part right here too, fishing gear. Now some people haven't fished before, so they want to know what fishing gear is. Poles, tackle boxes, bait box, the cooler that contained our lunches, a net, sweatshirts. Excellent. This also tells us a little bit about what kind of weather it is. It's early in the morning, it's cold, it's obviously not winter. At least. Okay, anyway, sorry about that interruption. It's obviously not winter because otherwise they'd be ice fishing if it was up here in the UP. Small tackle box first, I can kind of guess that something's going to happen. Now it's funny because when I've asked students in the past what they thought a big splash meant, they were thinking about a big fish when they found out that it was fishing time, which would have been a great personal narrative too, but this one's even better. No time to waste, biggest bass in the state was waiting for me. I love that voice here. I love that enthusiasm. I love how we're still in with her or him in that boat with the uncle, excited about the fishing. I like the sentence fluency here. So involved was I, instead of I didn't notice my uncle. We start with another chunk of the sentence here. So involved was I that I didn't notice my uncle. Obviously not, because we notice the boat is beginning to ease away from the dock. Now, whether you've had this experience or not, you can kind of start predicting by then what's going to happen. I like the dialogue here too. The dialogue is talking on paper, right? And it honestly isn't easy to punctuate dialogue, so we will be working on that. But you can see he says, pull the boat in with the line, said my uncle. Seems like it's calm, not really noticing what's going to happen yet. Precariously far apart. Whether you know what that word means or not, I think you can infer what it means using the context clues. And I love this. More urgently, I think the uncle knows he's going in. And, of course, he's cut off, and we're left with a big splash. Now, some students might say, I don't like that ending. I want to know what happened after. You know what? It's a personal narrative. It's short, it's sweet, and we as readers love to be surprised. We also love to have to use our brain and infer what happened. We know what happened. They probably had to go back and change. Maybe the uncle was cranky, but I wouldn't think so. I'm sure they just went back out and they laughed about it later. Hopefully the uncle could swim. So here is another great example of a personal narrative. Remember, there are many ways that you can gather ideas for this. We've talked about heart maps. Ralph Fletcher from How to Write Your Life Story showed us also a neighborhood map, which I know a lot of you were interested in. You could map out your hand. You could do your eye. You could do your feet, where your feet have gone and where you've been. Here's a drawing of me. No, I'm not an artist, but you could do honestly your whole body. And of course, our ideas never stop. So there's always something to write about. So start thinking about your personal narrative.